Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be replacing the chain and sprockets on this 2009 ZX6R. We are gearing the bike down, new chain, new front sprocket, new rear sprocket. And so I bought the cheapest tool I could find on Amazon for a chain breaker. And we're going to test this out and see if it works. So if you're replacing your chain and sprockets, always remember to remove that front nut first while the chain is still on the bike. And so let's go ahead and talk about removing the chain. That's the focus of this video. So the first thing I want to do is take my grinder, grind off one of these pins, and then we're going to push it out with our tool. So take this piece out. For pushing the pin out, we're going to want to remove this thing up here, put that in the box, and then we're going to want to take this off. Okay, so set that aside. Now we're going to want to select the correct pin, which is the largest one here, and we'll take the spring, put the spring over the pin, put the pin in here. It's important to note that this piece here is for riveting our master link, so we'll use that later. So spring and pin go in here, and then we screw this thing back in. So you can see that as I screw it in, this starts coming out, and because this is spring loaded, it keeps it seated. So let's go ahead and remove our link with this tool. We can also take the handle out and secure it to our tool to make this easier. You also have a lever here to screw this piece in if you need to. Alright, so I'm going to set the tool up on the link that I want to remove. Looks like this. And I can use my lever in here and turn the tool. Alright, once it's free like that, we can unscrew the tool, and this will just come off like that. Now we can remove the chain. So the tool, this little cheap tool, works just fine for removing your chain. Alright, so I put the new sprockets on and the chain, and now we are putting the master link on. And there's a plate here that has holes in it so the pins can come through, and then there's a backing plate that will brace itself against the back here. And you just tighten this until this seats on far enough, and then we're gonna do the riveting on those pins. So let's test the tool on this and see what happens. This requires a fair amount of force. Alright, so when you put the master link on here, you want this thickness to match the thickness of the links around it. So now I need to rivet these pins in order for this master link to stay on. So we're going to assemble the tool similar to how we did it before, except we're going to use this riveting tool. Alright, so with the riveting, this bottom one here is riveted, this top one is not. The top one measures 5.3. The bottom one measured 5.3 when we started, and I think I riveted it out to 5.6. So you have to pay attention to the chain manufacturer, whatever they specify. But usually when I rivet a chain, it's under 0.5 millimeters, the flare. You just, have a little bit of flare so that it doesn't come out. So we're gonna go ahead and do this top rivet now. And here's how I set up the cheap Amazon tool. I put this type of anvil on the back to keep the pin in place, and then I used the riveting pin. So let's go ahead and put this on, and I'll show you how to rivet this. So when it's together, it looks like this, and we go ahead and tighten this down in order to flare that pin out. Okay, so that should be enough flare on that pin. We'll go ahead and remove it now. Alright. So now I want to measure that with the caliper to make sure I flared it the correct amount. But that is it. So it's safe to say that this tool works pretty well for 15 bucks.